what really got this escalated, so that was called a flagrant. Those two were technicals. Charles got it. Yeah, I think no question this will get upgraded.
Yeah, no question.
Shoulders. And again, intent is not part of this rule. Cunningham.
It's the security.
Yeah, Sophie. Yeah, Sophie. That's how you do.
The WNBA thought a little $400 fine could shut her up. Instead, Sophie Cunningham turned that fine into a full-blown PR nuke, and the league has never looked more clueless. It all started with one reckless moment during a blowout game between the Indiana Fever and the Connecticut Sun. The Fever were up 88-71 with under a minute left. It should have been over. Calm, controlled, but nope. Jacy Sheldon decided to poke Caitlin Clark in the eye like this was some kind of backyard wrestling match, not a professional basketball game. And just when you thought it couldn't get more unhinged, Marina Mabrey stepped in and shoved Clark to the floor, like a bonus level of nonsense. The refs? Oh, they handed out some technical fouls, a flagrant one here and there. Nothing serious, nothing close to what should have happened.
You can't claw someone in the eye! Eject her! Eject both of them! Eject both of them! Nothing there. Jacy Sheldon claws her in the eye. Then the two of them get into it, and then Mabrey just goes and shoves her onto the ground. Eject both of them. Jacy Sheldon scratched her in the eye. Like, she literally, you can see it here. She's just clawed her. And then, by the way, that's an ejection too. That's an ejection too!
Here's where things exploded. Sophie Cunningham wasn't having it. She stormed over, wrapped up Mabrey like she was applying for the WWE, and dropped her to the floor. In the chaos, she even delivered a hard hit on Sheldon for good measure. Within seconds, benches cleared. The crowd went nuts. Cunningham wasn't just reacting, she was declaring war on the league's weak officiating. And just like that, the enforcer was born. The WNBA tried to play it cool. They slapped Sophie with a tiny fine, thinking that would sweep everything under the rug. But this is where the league seriously miscalculated. Because Cunningham didn't shrink, she doubled down. She went public, told ESPN it was a buildup of years of them not protecting the star player of the WNBA. No apologies, no backtracking, just full-on scorched earth truth.
During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build-up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so, at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do, and I'm a team player, so it's all good.
But hold up, this isn't just about one foul. Sophie didn't act out because she lost her cool. She acted out because Caitlin Clark, the WNBA's biggest star, keeps getting targeted like it's open season, and no one in the league office seems to care. And let's be honest, this wasn't some random scrub defending her teammate. Sophie's no joke. She's a black belt in Taekwondo who's been throwing elbows since kindergarten.
They bring in Sophie Cunningham. I had no idea. Sophie Cunningham was a black belt at the age of 6.
Yeah.
Yep.
Boom!
Wow.
Jacy Sheldon, that's cute. You want to poke her in the eye? Then push her into a boom, Mabrey thing? Go ahead. I'll take a take foul, and you'll eat the deck a little bit here.
She didn't just protect Clark, she sent a message. If the league won't do its job, I will. It was part MMA, part motherhood instinct. One hard foul, and suddenly the whole power balance shifted. Now here's where things get hilarious, because Sophie's $400 fine might be the best investment in WNBA history. In just 2 days, her Instagram exploded by 350,000 followers.
It was pointed out that her followers and TikTok account went up by more than 150%, and her Instagram tops out at 621K followers now. So it came out about 3.5 hours ago, this tweet, and Sophie Cunningham has 700,000 TikTok followers.
TikTok jumped from 400,000 to 1.2 million, and her number 8 Fever jersey, gone. Sold out faster than a LeBron playoff ticket in Cleveland. Marketing experts even said it would cost over $1 million to buy that kind of reach.
So now Sophie Cunningham retweets the petition on top of her jersey being sold out. At the end of the day, bro, Sophie Cunningham is going to sell jerseys off the racks. She's being praised for stepping up for her friend, bro.
Sophie paid $400. That's not a punishment. That's a blueprint for how to go viral and get paid. But the league's silence? That's where this really spirals. Because here's the thing. The WNBA doesn't just have an officiating problem. It has a Clark problem. Or more specifically, a how do we keep Caitlin Clark from getting assaulted every game problem. Let's rewind to 2024. Caitlin Clark played just 40 games, but somehow was the victim of 12 out of 70 total flagrant fouls in the entire league.
Caitlin Clark has personally received 17% of the flagrant fouls called. Literally, she's been fouled 70 on flagrant fouls. 17% of them have been against her personally.
That's 17% of all egregious contact, and yes, someone actually did the math. That's like if Steph Curry got knocked to the floor in every other game and the NBA just shrugged and said, play through it. And the targeting hasn't slowed down. This season, Clark missed several games in June due to a minor injury, allegedly tied to the non-stop hits she's been taking. It's not even subtle anymore. We've seen Dijonai Carrington's eye poke. We've seen Kennedy Carter's body check from hell. At this point, Clark might need shoulder pads and a helmet to make it through the season. But what makes this even more ridiculous is how badly the WNBA needs her. While the league let Clark get hammered night after night, they were cashing in on her name like never before. Her games in 2024 averaged 9.9 million viewers. That's more than the average NBA playoff game. When she was sidelined in June 2025, viewership nosedived by 55%.
Headline at USA Today. WNBA TV ratings down more than 50% since Caitlin Clark injury. Ratings for games involving the Indiana Felines down 53%. Prior to her injury, the Felines were averaging 1.8 million viewers. Since Caitlin Clark has been injured, the unknown supporting cast in Indiana, they have that number down to a cool 847,000.
Ticket sales dropped by 30% for non-Clark games at places like Gainbridge Fieldhouse. That's not just star power, that's dependence. This isn't like when LeBron James had Kobe, Durant, and Steph to share the spotlight. The WNBA is Caitlin Clark right now, and everyone knows it. She's the reason for the $200 million media deal, the sold-out arenas, and that 170% bump in league-wide viewership in 2024. And yet, the league is acting like she's just another rookie. Let's be real, this isn't growing pains. This is negligence dressed up as toughness. Even Asia Wilson and Breanna Stewart, the W's reigning veterans, don't take the same level of abuse game after game. Clark gets dragged, pushed, shoved, clipped, elbowed, and somehow the refs find a way to miss all of it. Which is why Sophie Cunningham's reaction wasn't just a foul, it was a breaking point. She knew that the league wasn't going to protect its most valuable player, so she did it herself. The WNBA can fine her, but they can't erase what she exposed. And here's the kicker. Fans loved it. Posts on X called her a national treasure. Her followers exploded. Her jersey sold out. And now even big brands are circling her like sharks.
You gangster, Sophie. I rock with you. Listen, I walk through an alley with Sophie anywhere. Sophie bout it, man. Like Master P and them said. Y'all let Caitlin get hit in the face 6, 7, 8 times. Y'all let her get knocked to the floor. Y'all didn't eject Marina Mabry, but it's funny y'all eject Sophie Cunningham. That's odd.
Marketing agencies estimate her per-post earnings may now double to $20,000. Cunningham didn't just stand up for a teammate. She created a brand. The WNBA wanted to discipline her, and instead, they accidentally made her rich. Now here's where it gets completely insane, because Sophie Cunningham wasn't even supposed to be the story. Just a few months ago, she was known more for being a tough guard with a mean elbow and a Taekwondo black belt. People called her Spicy Sophie, but she was hardly a headline. Then February 2025 rolls around, and she's suddenly traded from the Phoenix Mercury to the Indiana Fever. Boom, new team, new role. And thanks to the mess happening around Caitlin Clark, she became something bigger. The unofficial bodyguard of the WNBA's most targeted star. The timing couldn't have been more perfect or more chaotic. The Connecticut Sun game wasn't just a dust-up. It was the boiling point. When Jacy Sheldon went for Clark's eye and Marina Mabry followed with a shove, the whole thing felt less like a basketball game and more like a scene from Malice at the Palace, minus the popcorn. But the real issue? The refs didn't even pretend to have control. So Sophie went full superhero. One arm around Mabry, one shove on Sheldon, and suddenly we had ourselves a full-on altercation. ESPN didn't even know what to call it. Was it retaliation, self-defense, or the first WNBA enforcer moment to go viral?
And I think you gotta be like that, man. When you got a girl like Caitlin on your team and you got a star on your team like Luka or Bron, yeah, some hitters on that team that'll go hard for the main player. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And as it should. But I think the physical element is just part of the game, man.
And here's the part that should scare the WNBA. It worked. Because while the league was trying to calm things down with quiet fines and generic statements, fans were already picking sides. Spoiler alert, they picked Sophie. The WNBA fined her $400, and there may have been an undisclosed additional penalty too, but that didn't matter. Sophie came out swinging in interviews saying, "It's been years of them ignoring the safety of our top player." She didn't flinch, and neither did her coach. Stephanie White backed her up publicly, saying the officials completely lost control of the game. Even Becky Hammon, coach of the Las Vegas Aces, chimed in and said the league has gotten way too physical with no accountability.
I thought she got fouled. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. A minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking the rim. And the disrespect right now for our team.
When Becky Hammon is backing your brawl, you know the league messed up. The problem isn't just that Clark is getting hit, it's that nothing is changing. Veterans like Alyssa Thomas and Jonquel Jones have all had run-ins with Clark, but rarely see more than a slap on the wrist. Even that brutal body check from Kennedy Carter in 2024? No suspension, just a light review and a flagrant call like it was no big deal. But now, Cunningham has turned this chaos into her moment. And the league? Well, they're left trying to put out fires while Cunningham is building an empire. And this is where the WNBA's problem turns into a full-on identity crisis. See, the league thought it could operate in peace while Caitlin Clark got bodied every night like a piñata at a birthday party. But then Sophie Cunningham showed up, lit the fuse, and made it very clear. This was no longer just about basketball. This was about respect, about safety, about a league failing to protect its most valuable asset while pretending everything's fine. Let's talk numbers again. The WNBA lost $40 million in 2024, and that was with Clark on the floor, pulling in massive audiences and selling out arenas. Her $28 million Nike deal? That's more than the entire salary cap of some WNBA teams. Her $76,000 league paycheck is laughable in comparison. If she gets fed up and walks away, this whole thing crumbles. And that's not an exaggeration. Sportico confirmed that non-Clark games dropped like a rock in attendance and TV ratings. She's the engine, the show, the headline, and everyone knows it, which is why Sophie's move wasn't just an act of loyalty, it was a calculated stand. And the results? Unbelievable. Her TikTok following tripled. Her Instagram shot past 350K. Her Fever jersey became unavailable for days after selling out. And fans? They didn't just support her, they called her a hero, a legend, a national treasure. One of her clips lip-syncing to Selena Gomez's Hands to Myself got over 1.2 million views, with influencers like Joey Swole dropping legend in the comments. What started as a scuffle became a movement, and while the league was fumbling press releases, Sophie was cashing checks. She's now projected to make millions off the court, with deals from Adidas, Quest Nutrition, and more likely on the way. And all because she did the one thing the league wouldn't: protect Caitlin Clark. Yes, 388 people signed a petition trying to get her kicked out of the league. Cute. All they did was turn her into the most talked about player in the WNBA, not named Clark. Cunningham didn't just win the moment, she flipped the script. She turned a fine into fame, a foul into fortune, and exposed just how weak the league's backbone really is. The WNBA wanted to shut her up. Now they can't stop people from chanting her name. This wasn't supposed to be Sophie's season, but now she's rewriting the rules, one hard foul at a time. If you're enjoying this content and would like to see more and support my channel, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps. Thank you.